Chen Xuan travels through the fantasy world and gains the Tianji Pavilion at the beginning. Having knowledge of astronomy above and geography below, Chen Xuan began to create various rankings after 500 years of knowledge. Wanhua Valley Master. What? How could my century-long plan for Wanhua Valley be exposed by the Tianji Pavilion? Cangqiong Ancestor. I have been practicing hard for thousands of years, and I am about to break through the true immortal. How did Tianji Pavilion know that I am still alive in this world? The 5 holy sites. The Lord of the Tianji Pavilion is so terrifying. Our 5 holy sites have been established for tens of thousands of years, but I never expected to have no secrets in front of the Tianji Pavilion. Chen Xuan allowed the outside world to cause chaos, while himself main characters. Chen Xuan, Mingyue key words of the novel. Mystery. Start by creating the Tianji chart. No pop-ups, fantasy. Start by creating the Sky Machine chart. Download the complete TXT collection, fantasy. Start by creating the Tianji chart. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Tianji Pavilion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiantian Continent, Northern Region. There are numerous sects, and the strong are revered. At this moment, the wind and clouds in the sky suddenly changed, the sky and earth faded, and the radiance of the sun and moon was covered by dark clouds. All cultivators noticed the anomalies in the sky and suddenly looked up, their eyes filled with surprise. At this moment, a cutting divine light suddenly burst into the sky, triggered the spiritual waves between heaven and earth, and absorbed the essence of everything crazily. The wind and clouds were shrouded in fragments, and the heavens and earth roared. Everyone was shocked. In the next moment, a golden screen fell and several large characters gradually appeared on top. Xiantian Continent. Heavenly Pride List. First place. San Age. 23 Realm. Early stage of Yuanying Realm faction. Nun second place. Mo Xingqian Age. 22 Realm. Great perfection of the Golden Elixir faction. Dehuang City third place. Lin Weiner Age. 21 Realm. Great perfection of the Golden Elixir Realm faction. Wanhua Valley on a wasteland stands a towering mountain range, with a loft built on top of it. Chen Xuan slowly sat up from the recliner and murmured to himself, "It's been 3 years now, and finally we've gathered enough Tianji points." 3 years ago, Chen Xuan traveled to the Xiantian continent, obtained the system, and created the Tianji Pavilion. As long as someone makes a deal with oneself, one can obtain the heavenly mystery points, enhance their strength, and exchange them for magic treasures. But because the Tianji Pavilion was silent and nameless, there were no cultivators coming at all. Chen Xuan knew that he had no cultivation and that leaving Tianji Pavilion was only a near death, so he honestly checked in here for 3 years. Finally, he obtained the Tianjiao list in Xiantian continent by checking in and redeeming points. Chen Xuan looked down with surprise in his eyes. The top 5 were not from the strongest 5 holy sites, but all from some second-rate forces. And the first place, also the only genius who broke through the Yuanying realm, turned out to be a casual cultivator. Interesting. Chen Xuan looked at the list in front of him, and a slight smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. This list, divided by potential, strength, combat power, and age, includes the top 100 heavenly pride sons of the entire Xiantian continent, including some geniuses who have not yet been trained. Chen Xuan can even imagine how sensational this list would be after it was made public. But what he wants is this effect. Only in this way can the reputation of Tianji Pavilion be established and known to the world. Chen Xuan moved his mind and a map of the Xiantian continent appeared directly in the air. Go ahead. Chen Xuan waved his hand casually, and countless light dots flickered in the air, disappearing into the map. At the same time, a huge earthquake shook the major cities in the Xiantian continent, and a transparent stone tablet rose from the center of the city in front of everyone. Purple Cloud City. Many strong people were attracted by the huge movement, and someone read out the top few big characters on the stone tablet. Xiantian Continent Tianjiao List. Everyone present looked at each other with a hint of doubt in their eyes. As they continued to look down, their pupils shrank and they took a cold breath. How could this be? Ijia Sanxiu is actually the first genius in our Xiantian continent. The proud sons of the 5 holy sites are all above the top 5. Hehe, it's so interesting. If this list is true, it would be amazing. At this moment, a man in a black robe with a majestic face walked from behind the crowd. See the lord of the city. Everyone's eyes showed surprise, but to their surprise, the never-born lord of Purple Cloud City was attracted by this mysterious stone tablet. No need for much courtesy. The lord of Ziyun City casually waved his hand and looked at the list, murmuring, interestingly, a casual cultivator has surpassed all the other heroes and become the #1 pride in my Xiantian continent. Everyone also continued to shift their gaze downwards. The holy son of the Yin Mountain sect only ranks above 30. Yeah, I didn't expect that the witches in the ghost hall were only 40.7. Who created this list and how could they have such detailed information? At this moment, everyone couldn't help but look at the row of small characters at the bottom of the stone tablet. Produced by Tianji Pavilion, it must be a masterpiece. What kind of power is this Tianji Pavilion? I've never heard of it before. Yeah, it's probably difficult for the 5 holy sites to investigate such detailed information. I just don't know if this list is true or false, but if it's true, it would reveal a lot of sect secrets. I haven't heard of this Tianji Pavilion either, but I'm afraid it may cause trouble in the future. For a moment, not only Ziyun City, but also the entire Xiantian continent was shocked by the appearance of the stone tablet. Due to the emergence of the Tianjiao list, almost the entire Xiantian continent knows of a mysterious force. The Tianji Pavilion. Outside Ziyun City, there is a mysterious valley. Chen Xuan pushed open the door and glanced at the scene of no one in the outer space of the hall, with a hint of disappointment in his eyes. According to reason, everyone should know about Tianji Pavilion at this moment. Why hasn't anyone come yet? He skillfully lay on the lounge chair on the top floor of the attic, leisurely enjoying the scenery at the foot of the mountain, and soon fell asleep. At this moment, a woman with a handsome face, slim figure, and extraordinary temperament appeared at the entrance of the Tianji Hall. Looking at the plaque at the door, he read, "I know astronomy above and geography below. I knew 500 years ago and 500 years later. Tianji Pavilion, what a big breath." As the words fell, she pushed open the door of Tianji Pavilion and walked straight in. At the same time, Chen Xuan opened his eyes and a hint of surprise appeared in their souls. Oh, someone is here. The girl had just entered the Tianji Pavilion when she noticed a slight mistake. Inside the Tianji Pavilion, everything is antique and classical, seemingly ordinary but revealing a mysterious charm. Miss Lin. Just as the girl was slightly stunned, a clear voice came from her ear. The girl suddenly turned around and saw a young man wearing a white robe with a smile appear behind her. The girl frowned and looked around cautiously. With her cultivation, how could she not have noticed the other person's appearance at all? Miss Lin, don't be nervous. Since you've come all the way to our Tianji Pavilion, why don't you sit down and have a cup of hot tea? Do you know me? Lin Wanhua was stunned for a moment before finally realizing it. She has been very low-key all the way, even though there are only a few people in the sect who know her identity. The man in front of her spoke out his surname. I naturally recognized Lin Wanhua, the Tianjiao of Wanhua Valley. Chen Xuan smiled, not realizing that the first person to find the Tianji gate was actually the 3rd place on his Tianjiao list. At this moment, a transparent electronic screen appeared in front of him, recording all the information about Lin Wanhua. Name: Lin Wanhua, Strength. Great perfection of the Golden Elixir Realm, faction. Wanhua Valley, current situation. Chasing traitor Chen Xuan from Wanhua Valley, Chen Xuan has the right to investigate all information about anyone who enters the Tianji Pavilion. Who exactly is your excellency? Lin Wan'er looked at Chen Xuan with a serious expression, tightly gripping the sword behind her with her right hand, as if she was ready to take action at any moment. Chen Xuan poured a cup of tea without changing his expression, then sat down and smiled slowly. I said you don't need to be nervous, you don't need to know who I am, you just need to know that I have something you want to know. What? The whereabouts of Cangqiong. Lin Wan'er. Chapter 2. This Wave of Blood Earnings. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Wan'er stood still, pale with shock. You should know that Chen Xuan betrayed Wanhua Valley and was ordered to pursue it. This is top secret and only 3 people know about it. This matter is related to the reputation of Wanhua Valley, and the master repeatedly instructed him not to reveal it. How did the mysterious man in front of him learn about it? At the next moment, Lin Wan'er's beautiful eyes revealed waves of coldness, intending to stimulate her spiritual energy. She is not a fool, her identity is already confidential, and the person in front of her also knows about Cangqiong. There is only one possibility, the person in front of me may have already set up a plan and is waiting for me. Thinking of this, she was filled with murderous intent and immediately planned to take action. But the result surprised her greatly. She exerted all her strength to activate her spiritual energy, but found that at some point her spiritual energy had disappeared without a trace, as if she were a woman who had never practiced before. What have you done to me, you? Lin Wan'er was shocked and lost her composure. As the personal disciple of the leader of Wanhua Valley, she stumbled in a small Tianji Pavilion before showing her talents when she first ascended the mountain. Since the person in front of me can make my cultivation disappear without a trace, I can naturally silently erase myself. I said I didn't mean anything, you don't have to be nervous. Chen Xuan waved his hand and said, coming from afar is a guest. How could I possibly have ulterior motives towards Miss Lin? Lin Wan'er quickly recovered and immediately arched her hand at Chen Xuan, saying, I'm being rude. I hope you can forgive me, senior. The man in front of him may seem young, but his ability to silently make his cultivation disappear is simply unfathomable. Even one's own master cannot achieve this step. A reliable outsider. Why bother such a strong person if they intend to harm themselves? If we were enemies, let alone ourselves, the entire Flower Valley would probably be implicated. Thinking of this, Lin Wan'er changed her previous attitude and immediately became extremely respectful. It's okay. Just inside the Tianji Pavilion, not to mention a small Lin Wan'er, even the true immortal cannot stir up any waves here. I don't know how to address senior. Just call me Chen Xuan. Chen Xuan spoke faintly, with a completely otherworldly demeanor. I turned out to be Lord Chen, but I actually had some doubts when I came. I hope the senior can help me clarify a little. But it doesn't matter. To be honest, I have been practicing with my master since I was young and have never been born. Even the elders of the sect do not know my cultivation level. How did the senior know about it? Lin Wan'er nervously asked. How did I know? Chen Xuan chuckled lightly, put down the teacup in his hand, and said calmly, didn't Miss Lin see the sentence at the entrance of my Tianji Pavilion? He stood up, stood with his hands down, and said in an enigmatic manner, I know astronomy and geography from the Tianji Pavilion. I have known for 500 years, and for 500 years, I have known for 500 years. As long as I am interested in this world, nothing can escape my eyes. Upon hearing Chen Xuan's words, Lin Wan'er was deeply moved. Previously, when she saw this sentence, she would only sneer, but now that Chen Xuan has revealed Cangqiong's secret recipe, she naturally has no doubt. Senior, did you say you knew about Qiankung's whereabouts before? Lin Wan'er tentatively asked. Nature. Chen Xuan nodded and a hint of unexpected surprise flashed in his eyes. I didn't expect this first transaction to be completed soon. I hope you can teach me, senior. Lin Weiner respectfully said. Chen Xuan has betrayed Wanhua Valley and will surely die. Upon hearing this, Chen Xuan smiled and said, Tianji Pavilion can naturally tell you the whereabouts of Qiankun, but you need intelligence and naturally need to exchange items of corresponding value. The purpose of the existence of Tianji Pavilion is precisely here, do you understand? Lin Weiner suddenly realized. Yes, I understand. At the same time, she felt a bit ashamed in her heart. It was already a great honor for her senior to give her a chance, and she even wanted to play tricks on the white wolf empty-handed. She hesitated for a moment, then painstakingly took out a sparkling pearl from the storage space, presented it with both hands, and respectfully said, Senior, this is a 4th level and higher level magic treasure, which was bestowed by the junior master. May I know if it can enter the senior's magic eye? Lin Weiner was very uneasy in her heart. The 4th level magic weapon was already very precious, but in the eyes of such an expert, it probably didn't hold much weight. Ding, if you discover a 4th level level magic weapon, you can exchange it for 30 days opportunity points. At this moment, the system prompt suddenly sounded, and Chen Xuan's face remained unchanged as he said, check the whereabouts of Qiankun. Ding, it takes 5 days to search for Qiankun's whereabouts. Oh. Chen Xianmei raised his eyebrows and surprisingly only needed 5 days of magic points. Then you can earn a total of 25 Tianji points now. This wave of blood earned. Chen Xuan suppressed his inner surprise and calmly took the magic weapon from Lin Weiner's hand, then exchanged it for the corresponding heavenly mystery point. Ding, deduct 5 days opportunity points. Name. Qiankun, Strength. In the early stage of Yuanying Realm, Faction. None, Current Location. Within a cave 500 meters southwest of Ziyun City, Current Situation. Seriously injured, taking the condensing yuan pill to forcefully increase strength to the Yuanying Realm, causing significant damage to qi and blood, currently deploying formations to deal with Lin Weiner. Even Chen Xian's eyes were slightly shaken, and he was very aware of the efficacy of this Ningyuan pill. Although it can forcibly help cultivators improve their level, the cost is a significant damage to their qi and blood, making it difficult to improve their level for life. What a cruel heart this 1,000 enemies have. After reading the intelligence, Chen Xuan spoke up. Qiankun is in a cave 500 meters southwest of Ziyun City. You can go ahead. Thank you very much, senior. Lin Weiner was overjoyed and quickly bowed her hand to thank her. She was about to turn around and leave, but suddenly she was stopped. Wait a moment. Do you have any further instructions, senior? Since you are the first guest of my Tianji Pavilion, let me tell you more information. Chen Xuan smiled and said, this 1,000 enemies have now taken the condensing yuan pill and broken through the Yuanying realm. If you go unprepared like this, you will definitely die. Ah. Upon hearing these words, Lin Weiner was instantly stunned. Ningyuan pill. Yuanying realm. Her face immediately became solemn. Before leaving Wanhua Valley, Qiankun had indeed stolen many elixirs and treasures, perhaps including the Ningyuan pill. If it had been before, although both of them were in the later stage of the golden elixir realm and could have won by relying on their strong martial arts skills, now that the other party has already broken through the Yuanying realm, naturally they cannot be opponents. But if I were to go to Wanhua Valley again to bring reinforcements, I'm afraid that Qiankun would have disappeared long ago. Lin Weiner furrowed her brow for a moment and fell into a dilemma. Seeing this, Chen Xianwan smiled. You don't need to worry, although this Ningyuan pill can help cultivators improve their strength, it ultimately helps to promote growth and naturally has flaws. Chapter 3. How is it possible? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Weiner's beautiful eyes flashed with a glimmer of light. She was about to speak, but she remembered that she no longer had any other magic weapons, and for a moment, her words were a bit stuck. Chen Xuan glanced at Lin Wanner and said calmly, "Anyway, I'll do it right and send you another message. After taking the condensing yuan pill, Qiankun has a significant flaw. When fighting against her, you only need to attack her golden pill with all your strength." Jean Dan. Lin Wanner's beautiful eyes were full of shock. All cultivators who break through the golden elixir realm will condense all their spiritual power into a golden elixir, making it the strongest place for all cultivators. If one were to attack the golden pill of a strong person in the Yuaning realm, it would probably be in vain. "That's all for it, you can go now." After Chen Xuan finished speaking, he waved his hand casually. Lin Wanner felt a darkness before her eyes as she was instantly escorted to the entrance of Tianji Pavilion. Looking at the heavy gate of Tianji Pavilion in front of her, there was a hint of shock in her eyes. Even her master would probably be amazed by such means once again. "Senior, you are such a skilled person who knows everything. I don't think you will be joking with me. What he said must be true. Although I lost a 4th grade magic weapon, I gained such important intelligence, not at a loss." With this in mind, she bowed respectfully to the Tianji Pavilion and loudly said, "Young generation Lin Wanner, thank you very much for your guidance." After bowing, she transformed into a spiritual light and flew towards the southwest of Xi'an City. In the Tianji Pavilion, Chen Xuan lay satisfied on the lounge chair, with a casual smile on his face. "Not bad. I didn't expect to earn 25 days opportunity points in the first transaction, and I don't know how much strength I can improve." Chen Xuan was filled with excitement between China and the United States, and he immediately chose to use all the heavenly machine points to enhance his own strength. The next second, he instantly felt endless power pouring into his body, and his bones and meridians were full of power, as if he had obtained an indescribable sublimation. In the blink of an eye, Chen Xuan suddenly opened his eyes, a flash of brilliant light flickering. In just a short blink of an eye, his strength went from being immortal to breaking through the qi cultivation realm and directly breaking through the foundation building realm. Surprisingly, it broke through directly to the foundation construction realm. Chen Xuan murmured to himself, nodding in satisfaction. He is already very satisfied with being able to break through to the foundation construction site. After all, this is only 25 days of opportunity. It seems that we still need to find a way to attract a few senior figures, otherwise we won't be able to extort anything good. Chen Xuan lay on the chair pondering. At the same time, there is a mysterious cave in the southwest of Xi'an City. A woman wearing a purple robe sat cross-legged, with a gloomy face and a faint black aura surrounding her, hiding a murderous intent. "Lin Wanner, I didn't expect you to be so ruthless. Since you never give up, no one can blame me. If you come after me again this time, I will definitely have you die without a place to bury yourself." Qiankun has a stable mind and spirit. She has already set up a killing array around her, and now she has broken through the Yuaning realm. Even though Lin Wanner has extraordinary talent, it is not enough to bridge the gap in her realm. At this moment, she felt a familiar aura and immediately stood up, with a hint of killing intent flashing through her eyes. "Are you here?" Even faster than I imagined. At the next moment, a light and shadow flickered. A white figure has appeared at the entrance of the cave. "Qiankun, you are indeed here." Lin Wanner carried a sword on her back, her eyes shining brightly without any nonsense, and she drew her sword and struck it with one strike. Kang! Sword light slashed down, as if to split open the entire mountain. Qiankun frowned and quickly imprinted her hands in the air, triggering several formations. In the next moment, terrifying spiritual power overwhelmed the surroundings in an instant. Lin Wanner remained calm, holding a sword to block her chest, swaying and dodging many attacks one by one, breaking through the formation with force. However, in an instant, she managed to break through several formations with one blow. Qiankun's eyes were slightly shaken, and she immediately regained her composure. "You are truly the proud disciple of the sect leader. I underestimated you. But do you really think you're my opponent? As the words fell, Chen Xuan's figure exploded, her breath condensed, and a towering aura rushed towards her. Lin Weiner's face changed and she instinctively avoided the attack. As my senior said, you have already broken through the realm of Yuanying. Chen Xuan's heart was filled with doubts. Senior? What senior? I just broke through the Yuanying realm. Even if the forces behind her have not reported, how could a second person know? She didn't have time to think much and launched a single attack. Lin Weiner dared not be careless and immediately mobilized her spiritual power, blocking her sword in front of her to resist. Boom! Lin Weiner was instantly pushed back several meters, with a hint of blood oozing from the corner of her mouth, and the forest behind her was directly flattened by Yue. Yuanying realm, as strong as this. Lin Weiner, you are indeed talented, but unfortunately you will also die young today. Chen Xuan's eyes were full of hidden murders, and he walked step by step towards Lin Weiner. She was well aware of her limited talent, and even if she didn't take the condensing yuan pill, it would be difficult for her to break through in this life. It would be better to destroy Lin Weiner and make the demon of Wanhua Valley regret it. Seeing this, Lin Weiner dare not ask for help. Fully mobilized the spiritual power, all concentrated on the sword, disregarding all the pressure, stared at Chen Xuan's dantian with resolute eyes, and launched a full blow. Humph, the praying mantis arm is like a cart. Qiankun sneered. In terms of talent, she was far inferior to Lin Weiner, but the strength of the Yuanying realm was not comparable to that of the Golden Core realm. Two terrifying forces collided like wildfire. Bang! Lin Weiner struck and chopped it down, freezing in place. Puff! The next moment, a mouthful of blood spat out, her sword broke, and she knelt down on one knee with a thud. If it weren't for her overly powerful cultivation techniques, she would have been torn apart and shattered at this moment. Chen Xuan stood in place with a pale face, a surprised expression on her face, staring intently at her abdomen with wide eyes. At this moment, a finger-wide hole appeared in her abdomen, blood kept gushing out, and the golden pill had already broken in half. How could this be possible? Qiankun widened her eyes, filled with disbelief. She turned her head and stared at Lin Weiner, saying word by word, how could you know my weakness? The Ningyuan pill can help cultivators forcibly elevate their level, but the cost comes at the expense of the cultivator's potential. Therefore, cultivators who take the Ningyuan pill will experience damage to their gold core in the short term. This is exactly the weakest moment of her golden elixir. But how could Lin Weiner know? Lin Weiner stood up forcefully, using her spiritual power to quickly repair her injuries, and said calmly, Senior, you're right. After taking the Ningyuan pill, you have too many flaws. Senior. Chen Xuan is like falling into an ice cellar. She didn't pay attention just now, but now she suddenly realized. Is it possible that there is still a great talent behind Lin Weiner? Chapter 4. Setting long lines and fishing for big fish. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Weiner's face remained unchanged, gathering spiritual energy and looking at Chen Xuan indifferently. You can go on the road now. Although she has been seriously injured, the damaged Qiankun of the golden elixir is not as good as an ordinary person at this moment. Chen Xuan's face changed and she quickly retreated, shouting loudly, how dare you? Lin Weiner, don't you want to know why I betrayed Wanhua Valley? Upon hearing this, Lin Weiner was stunned for a moment, then shook her head and said, no matter what your troubles are, betraying the sect and harming your fellow disciples is a dead end. Go to hell. Lin Weiner raised her hand slightly and a sword light flashed through. But this time, Qiankun didn't hide or dodge, and he laughed back in anger. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect you to work so hard for Wanhua Valley. Do you know who killed your parents and destroyed your sect back then? As the words fell, Lin Weiner's delicate body trembled, and the attack that was only a fist away from Qiankun disappeared in an instant. What are you saying? Qiankun no longer resisted and sat on the ground, looking at Lin Wanner with a smile. Anyway, my golden pill has been shattered. Even if I survive, I will only be a useless person. Today, I will tell you the truth. The person who destroyed your entire family back then was the leader of Wanhua Valley whom you loved the most more than 20 years ago. As the words fell, Lin Wanner's face slightly changed and she was stunned for a moment. Then he looked at Qiankun with a murderous expression on his face and said angrily, "Even now, how dare you argue? Ha ha ha, do you think it's necessary for me to argue now?" Lin Wanner looked at Qiankun, who had no resistance, her eyes flickered, and she didn't know how to refute for a moment. Chen Xuan continued, "To be honest with you, it was your master who noticed your exceptional talent and wanted to take you as an apprentice. In order to make you completely loyal to your clan, he killed your parents and destroyed your family." As the words fell, Lin Wanner was thunderstruck, her mind blank, and she was dumbfounded. "What are you saying? Not only you, but most of the disciples in the sect with extraordinary talents are like this. I just stumbled upon the sect's secret recipe and was chased after." "No, no." Lin Wanner's face changed and she immediately reacted, "If it's really what you said, how could Master send me to pursue you? Why didn't you tell me before?" "I understand now, but even if I said it before, do you think you will believe me?" Qiankun said with a bitter smile, "Perhaps she is planning to test your loyalty with this." Lin Wanner was stunned for a moment, frozen in place, pondering in her mind what to do. However, before she could even think, she sensed a terrifying and powerful aura in the air. "Hurry up, if they arrive, you probably won't have a chance to leave." Qiankun said helplessly, "Remember what I said today." At the next moment, Qiankun drew his sword and cut himself. Lin Wanner was momentarily stunned, but she couldn't bear to think anymore. She could sense that if she waited for that aura to descend, she would probably find it really difficult to escape. The only way now is to return to Tianji Pavilion. As long as she is under the protection of that senior, she believes she is absolutely safe. The only thing to worry about right now is whether the seniors will protect themselves. "Let's leave here first." Having made up her mind without any hesitation, Lin Wanner flew directly to the Tianji Pavilion. After a stick of incense. Above the mysterious cave, a terrifying aura appeared, spreading like a tide. A crane-haired and childlike old man walked step by step from the void with a cane in hand, scanning the body of Qiankun with a hint of coldness in his eyes. With a big wave of his hand, a mirror emerged from Qiankun's storage space. The scenes that happened just now are all reproduced in this mirror. After watching it, the old man smashed the mirror with a palm strike. As expected, just as the sect leader was worried, Lin Wanner was shaken when she found out the truth. As the next inheritor of the sect, if one cannot be completely loyal to the sect, then there is no need for existence. Since that's the case, this person won't be able to stay. Then, he suddenly opened his eyes and scanned the void with a cold gaze, staring at the nearby Tianji Pavilion and murmuring, "Did you escape here?" On the other side, Lin Wanner desperately ran away. She could sense that the terrifying aura just now was at least that of a powerful deity transforming realm, and that aura seemed very familiar to herself. This kind of existence can easily crush itself even with the movement of fingers. Even though she had escaped hundreds of miles at this moment, she still felt a chill in her back. This distance is just a blink of an eye for a strong person in the realm of transforming gods. Fortunately, I am almost at the Tianji Pavilion. She immediately pushed open the gate of Tianji Pavilion and rushed in, shouting, "Senior, senior. Are you back?" Chen Xuan lay on the chair, seemingly expecting Lin Wanner to appear, not surprised. Lin Wanner felt a sense of joy in her heart, and indeed she was a senior. I'm afraid all of this was already in the calculation of the senior. Seeing Chen Xuan's calm demeanor, Lin Wanner's heart that had been hanging on for a long time finally calmed down. Since that's the case, it indicates that the senior is willing to protect themselves. Please help me, senior. It's not difficult to save you. Chen Xuan said calmly, as long as you don't leave Tianji Pavilion, I'll keep you safe. But why should I save you? This. Lin Wanner was momentarily speechless. She had originally intended to say that after the matter was resolved, there would be a retribution in Wanhua Valley, but now she is not sure of the truth, so she naturally dare not make such a promise. Let your master come over, I can consider saving you. Chen Xuan casually said that Lin Wanner's identity is still too low, and she can only be considered a proud son of heaven. The magic treasures she can offer to exchange for Tianji points are also very limited. But the leader of Wanhua Valley is different. Although Wanhua Valley is not a top power in the Xiantian continent, it can still be considered a second-rate power. As long as he comes, Chen Xuan is naturally confident in making a deal with her. Put on a long line, catch big fish. Ah! Lin Wanner was momentarily stunned. Firstly, she didn't understand why Chen Xuan wanted to see her master, and secondly, she didn't want to meet her master until she knew the truth. Why? Why? Have you forgotten what the meaning of my Tianji Pavilion's existence is? The price for saving your life is for you to let your master come. If you don't want to, you can naturally leave. Upon hearing this, Lin Wanner pursed her lips and nodded. After meeting with his master, he remained silent about what Qian Qiu'er had just said. Now, it is most important to escape the pursuit. Yes, I understand. I will inform my master now. Lin Wanner immediately crushed the jade in her arms, but after sending the message, she always had a bad feeling that something even worse would happen after the master arrived. Chapter 5. Big Fish Comes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The moon is black and the wind is high, in the valley of 10,000 flowers. On the mountaintop, a solitary and proud figure meditated in the void, looking at the shattered jade in front of him and slowly opening his eyes. Unfortunately, the heavenly pride, who had nurtured himself for 20 years, ultimately chose to betray the sect. I didn't expect that my century-old layout would be destroyed by a small 1,000 enemies. Even if I didn't send Lin Wanner to pursue Qianqiu, this secret recipe had already been exposed by Qianqiu, and many people in Wanhua Valley have heard of it. If Lin Wanner unexpectedly learned one or two and shook her loyalty, it would not be worth the loss. Now that the overall situation has been decided, even if it hurts, she can only endure the pain and kill Lin Wanner, because the century-long plan has reached the final step. At that time, it is absolutely not allowed for sacrificial offerings to have ulterior motives towards the sect. Killing Lin Wanner will naturally be replaced by other sacrificial offerings. Ghost Old, come back to see me with Lin Wanner's body. She spread the message from thousands of miles and then continued to practice with her eyes closed. Everything has reached the final step, absolutely no mistakes are allowed. Yes. The Ghost Elder who received the command has now arrived at the entrance of the Tianji Pavilion. Gue Lao stood at the entrance of the Tianji Pavilion, his face unchanged, and he said coldly, I know astronomy above and geography below. I knew 500 years ago and 500 years later. Humph, what a big tone. Today I want to see who dares to shield Lin Wanner. Gue Lao snorted coldly, pushed open the door, and strode into Tianji Pavilion. He had just noticed that the last place where Lin Wanner's breath disappeared was here, she must be hiding here. In the Tianji Pavilion, Ghost Old walked into it and was the first to see Chen Xuan lying leisurely on a chair. Who are you? Hand over Lin Wanner quickly. Gue Lao stood with his hands down, his tone revealing a hint of irreconcilable authority. Chen Xuan slowly sat up and looked at him, with a casual smile on his lips. Name. Jiang Gui, Strength. In the early stage of transforming into a Divine Realm faction. Elder Group of Wanhua Valley, Technique. 9 Stars and Moon Eclipse, Ghost Shadow Body Technique. Magic weapon. All the information about Ghost Old appeared in front of Chen Xuan in an instant. After reading the introduction, Chen Xuan raised his eyebrows, and before the leader of Wanhua Valley arrived, he caught another big fish himself. Looking at the names of those magical treasures, Chen Xuan almost drooled. Didn't you hear me speaking? Gue Lao frowned slightly, with a hint of dissatisfaction in his eyes. If it weren't for his sense of strangeness in the Tianji Pavilion, he would have taken action to eliminate the ignorant young man in front of him. Elder Ghost, please be calm and sit down. After Chen Xuan finished speaking, Gue Lao was stunned for a moment, with a hint of surprise in his eyes, but it was quickly covered up. Since you know who I am, hand over Lin Wanner quickly, otherwise no wonder I am ruthless. Oh. Chen Xuan raised his eyebrows and smiled. My Tianji Pavilion specializes in selling various types of information. If Elder Ghost wants to know the whereabouts of Lin Wanner, he can exchange corresponding treasures for intelligence. Just looking at your posture, it seems like you're planning to forcefully grab intelligence. Chen Xuanla was thinking about how to extort Jiang Gui, but the other party spoke rudely. If the other party takes the initiative, then you can be considered to have some leverage. Even if it gets out, it won't damage the reputation of your Tianji Pavilion. What, do you think I dare not? Gue Lao sneered, and a cold light flickered in his eyes. As an elder of the Flower Valley and a powerful deity transforming realm, he has done countless things such as killing people and stealing goods. How could he possibly fear an ordinary person with no breath or fluctuation? Then, just as he was about to activate his spiritual power, he suddenly sensed a strong sense of crisis. As a strong practitioner of transforming the divine realm, his sixth sense far surpasses that of ordinary people. Gue Lao took a cold breath in an instant and looked at Chen Xuan with great fear. Something's wrong, this Tianji Pavilion is definitely not easy. He hesitated for a moment before immediately changing his tone and saying, "Hee, I'm just joking. Please don't take it seriously, Your Excellency. I just don't know what kind of treasure I should use to exchange intelligence. It depends on what intelligence you want to exchange. Where is Wanner from Wanhua Valley Forest now? A 6th grade magic weapon, ... Gue Lao hesitated for a moment. Although a 6th grade magic weapon was precious, it was nothing to him. Immediately, he took out a precious sword from the storage space, with a sharp sword intent on it, and handed it to Chen Xuan with both hands. Could you please inform me now? Chen Xuan took the lingbao and immediately exchanged it with the system for a full 60 days of opportunity points. It's twice as expensive as the magic weapon Lin Wanner brought out before. This wave is making a lot of money, and I don't even need to calculate to know the information. It's right here in the Tianji Pavilion. Ghost Old. Are you joking with me, sir? Gue Lao's face changed slightly, his eyes were about to burst into flames, and his anger was raging. He was so powerful that he had been tricked by the powerful transformation of the divine realm at this moment. He stared fixedly at Chen Xuan. If it weren't for some fear, he would have completely dismembered Chen Xuan by now. Although he was not sure if Chen Xuan in front of him had used some special means to bring himself a sense of crisis, he dared not take this risk. After all, if the person in front of me were really a hidden expert, even if I had 10 lives, it wouldn't be enough to die. What's going on? Chen Xuan squinted his eyes and said coldly, "Can you doubt the authenticity of the information in Tianji Pavilion? He can tolerate anything, but he absolutely does not allow anyone to smear the Tianji Pavilion. You should know that he can point to the reputation of the Tianji Pavilion and sell intelligence to earn heavenly level points. If others find out that he sells fake information, wouldn't it ruin his own job?" The old ghost's eyes showed a hint of coldness. "So, are you willing to hand over Lin Wanner?" Chen Xuan shook his head. "Sorry, Tianji Pavilion only sells news and does not do any other business." Gue Lao Han said in a cold voice, "So you insist on becoming enemies with my Wanhua Valley?" His eyes were cold, and he immediately planned to mobilize his spiritual power. In the next moment, all spiritual power disappeared without a trace. How could this be? What scene has he never seen before? But I have never seen such a strange thing before. Can it be that the young man in front of me is really a hidden old monster? He looked up at Chen Xuan again and found that although he had no spiritual energy fluctuations, there seemed to be auras entwined around his body. Although it's just a hint of charm, it has proven that Chen Xuan in front of him is by no means an ordinary person. Being able to silently make one's cultivation disappear is terrifying. He planned to take out the magic weapon and fight against Chen Xuan, only to find that the magic weapon in his storage space was also unusable. Nowadays, he is no different from ordinary people. What have you done to me? Gue Lao was extremely shocked, and his eyes were full of shock. When did one's cultivation disappear? Why don't you feel anything at all? Chapter 6. Eating Both Sides. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Faced with Gue Lao's questioning, Chen Xuan just smiled faintly. This place. Martial arts are prohibited. Hiss. The simple 4 words made Gue Lao's face change, and an inexplicable pressure enveloped his whole body. He hesitated. I am just an elder of Wanhua Valley, not a warrior. Chen Xuan in front of him was inscrutable. His spiritual energy was forbidden, and once he froze, it was himself who was unlucky. No one is a fool. Foolish to the point of seeking death. Cough cough. Sir. Actually, Wanhua Valley has no intention of making things difficult for you. It's just that Lin Wanner betrayed the sect, which is an existence that no power can tolerate. As long as I am willing to hand over Lin Wanner now, Wanhua Valley is willing to offer 3. No, 5 6th grade treasures as compensation. Gue Lao's attitude is very humble. It's unbelievable to put it as usual. 5 6 treasures. Chen Xuan's eyes lit up and he almost drooled. But his goal is even greater. You go, let the Lord of Wanhua Valley talk to me. Well, okay. After hesitating for a moment, Gue Lao still withdrew from the Tianji Pavilion. Why should I handle the affairs of Wanhua Valley alone? Senior. After Gue Lao left, Lin Weiner knelt directly in front of Chen Xuan. What are you doing? Chen Xuan was taken aback. I, Lin Wanner, have lost my sight. I acknowledge the thief as my father, hold deep grudges in the sea of blood, and we will never share the same fate. Please help me seek revenge, sir. Tianji Pavilion only sells news and does not kill people. Alternatively, you can exchange treasures for the method of destroying Wanhua Valley. Not much, 26th grade treasures. Chen Xuan raised 2 fingers. Ah. Lin Wanner is foolish. The 6th grade treasure is not just a cabbage, it's worth 20 pieces when pulled out. But Lin Wanner is too aware of the strength of Wanhua Valley, it is absolutely impossible to defeat it solely by her own strength. But the man in front of him can do it. Because she has already experienced Chen Xuan's mysterious and unpredictable methods. She gritted her teeth. If you help me seek revenge, sir, I am willing to be a bull and a horse, serve you for life, and never repent. Well, that's it. Chen Xuan glanced at Lin Wanner twice. It has to be said that this girl has a top-notch physique and appearance. Being a bed warmer is not a disadvantage. Chen Xiangang was about to open his mouth when he suddenly laughed. You came quite quickly. He raised his head slightly, and in the void, an imposing and beautiful figure had already appeared. At the same time, a mountain of pressure rushed towards us. Lin Wanner's face turned pale and her body began to tremble. The person she was most afraid of finally came. Name. Wanhuarong, Lord of Wanhua Valley, Strength. In the middle stage of transforming the divine realm. Faction. Wanhua Valley. Practice. Transfer flowers and trees. Magic weapon. 10,000 flowers in the morning dew. Chen Xuan's information appeared in front of him. Master of Wanhua Valley, please come and welcome us from afar. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. Wan Huarong's heart sank. She deliberately let out her breath just now, trying to give Chen Xuan a push, but the other party didn't react at all. As the ghost elder said, this person is quite peculiar. With her feet on the ground, Wan Huarong's body sank violently, and the spiritual energy in the elixir field disappeared. Her face suddenly changed. Previously, Gue Lao told him that he couldn't use spiritual energy in the Tianji Pavilion, and Wan Huarong still had some disbelief. After all, his own strength far exceeded that of Gue Lao. What he couldn't do may not be impossible for him. But now, the bloody facts tell her. Even in the realm of transforming gods, one cannot escape confinement. Are you the lord of the Tianji Pavilion? As expected, heroes emerge from youth. Feeling the mystery of this place, her tone naturally became a bit polite. But she also didn't believe that Chen Xuan dared to take action against her. Wan Huarong flipped her hand and directly took out 2 6th-grade treasures. These are 2 6th-grade treasures, exchanged for the villain Lin Wanner. As soon as these words were spoken, Lin Wanner, who was hiding behind Chen Xuan, had a face as pale as death and trembled with fear. Chen Xuan smiled. The Lord of Wanhua Valley is really anxious. I don't think any sect can allow traitors to exist. Don't rush to talk about Lin Wanner's matter for now. Anyway, I can't get away with anyone here. I think the Lord of Wanhua Valley should be interested in another matter. What's going on? Ling Mai. The pupils of Wan Huarong shrink. What is the most important thing for power? Talent. Treasure. None of them. But rather the spiritual pulse. With sufficient spiritual energy, there are naturally abundant resources. With resources, do you still worry about attracting geniuses to invest? And the spiritual meridian contains several times or even dozens of times the spiritual energy. Practicing next to the spiritual meridian for 1 day is equivalent to 10 days of ordinary cultivation, making it a treasure that all cultivators dream of. Tell me, where can I spare Lin Wanner? Wan Huarong took a steady breath and said. Compared to the spiritual pulse, Lin Wanner is nothing. As long as he has a spiritual pulse, he can cultivate 10 or 100 Lin Wanner. Chen Xuan stretched out 5 fingers and said with a smile, add 5 more items of the 6th-grade treasure, operate on a small budget, and you won't owe any credit. Without any hesitation, Wan Huarong took out 5 6th-grade treasures and handed them to Chen Xuan. You better not lie to me. Hey, Tianji Pavilion always treats people with sincerity and is fair to both the elderly and the young. After obtaining the treasure, Chen Xuan immediately absorbed it and obtained 300 heavenly mechanism points. Exchange for the location of the spiritual pulse. Ding. Deducting 50 Tianji points. Target location. In the barren mountains 10 miles west of the ghost sect, 100 zhang above the ground. Reminder. The spiritual pulse is covered up by the ghost sect formation and needs to be broken with dog blood. After obtaining the intelligence, Chen Xuan's mouth curved. That spiritual vein is buried in the barren mountains 10 miles west of the ghost sect, 100 zhang underground. Ghost sect. Wan Huarong frowned. The ghost sect is also a first-class force, with the strength of Wanhua Valley on par with Buzhong. In the territory of the ghost sect, if you try to grab the spiritual pulse, you will know with your but that the other party will do their best. But the temptation of the spiritual pulse still overcame Wan Huarong's rationality. Is the intelligence real? Of course. 1 false 1 pays 10. Friendly reminder, the spiritual pulse is covered up by the ghost sect formation, you need to prepare some black dog blood. Okay. Wan Huarong nodded and then gave Chen Xuan a deep glance before exiting the Tianji Pavilion. Did you really tell him the location of the spiritual pulse? Lin Weiner looked at Chen Xuan in surprise. Of course. Tianji Pavilion is meant to meet all the guests' requirements. You're crazy, this is aiding the tyrant in his tyranny. Lin Weiner exclaimed angrily. Chen Xuan smiled and said, hey. Wanhua Valley has taken the spiritual veins of the ghost sect. The ghost sect will definitely not give up easily. Don't you want revenge? So the first task I assigned you is. After the Wanhua Valley captures the spiritual pulse, you should inform the leader of the ghost sect of the news as soon as possible. Tell him that if you want to know how to retrieve the spiritual pulse, prepare the treasure to exchange for intelligence. Hiss. Lin Weiner's pretty eyes widened and she looked at Chen Xuan with a frightened expression. This guy actually wants to eat one fish and two at the same time, calculating the two major forces of Wanhua Valley and Guimen sect. No matter which side, it is impossible to let go of the spiritual pulse, and a big fight is inevitable. But Chen Xuan remained indifferent. That is to say, the benefit is that he takes it and lets others do the hard work. Terrifying. Chapter 7. What to say is what to say. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After returning to Wanhua Valley, Wanhua Rong immediately summoned all the elders and elites of Wanhua Valley. Elders, now there is a great opportunity in front of us in the Valley of Flowers. If we can obtain it, the Valley of Flowers will surely rise. Except for the ghost elder who had some enlightenment, the remaining elders began to whisper to each other. What other opportunities do Wanhua Valley have? Yeah, we've been here for so long and haven't heard of any chance. Are you deceiving us? No one is a fool, naturally knowing that there is no free lunch in the world. Opportunities often come with crises. So many elders had flickering eyes and did not answer. Seeing the expressions of many elders, Wanhua Rong cursed a few words in secret. They are all a group of old foxes. What if it's a spiritual pulse? In just 6 words, dozens of elders from Wanhua Valley exploded with a loud roar. What? It's a spiritual pulse. Oh my goodness, 1 day of cultivation by the spiritual pulse is equivalent to 10 days of external cultivation. Being extraordinary and becoming holy is no longer a dream. If there is spiritual cultivation, I can quickly break through the Yuaning period. For a moment, many elders became excited. The stimulation of the spiritual pulse is still very strong for them. Valley Master, is the news reliable? An elder asked. The matter of the spiritual pulse is not insignificant. Even a cultivator cannot remain indifferent. How did you know? Wanhua Rong gave a faint smile. This was bought by the owner of this valley at a high price from a senior expert. It will definitely not go wrong. The elders suddenly took a breath of cold air. The Lord of Wanhua Valley is a top-notch expert in the transformation period. The senior expert she talks about should be so strong. Is it the fusion period? Is it still during the Mahayana period? Such senior experts are naturally unlikely to lie, and a casual word of advice is enough to make the cultivator take off in place. The elders of Wanhua Valley have a hot heart. This is a real chance. Without delay, let's set off. Wanhua Rong waved her hand. By the way, Ghost Old, bring some black dog blood with you. Gue Lao was taken aback and said, why do you want black dog blood? It should be useful. Regarding Chen Xuan's request to bring his own black dog blood, Wanhua Rong was still very puzzled. What can a mere black dog blood do? Can it be more effective than her own spells and treasures? The experts of Wanhua Valley, led by Wanhua Rong, swept over the steep mountains and arrived at the Black Forest. This is where the ghost sect is located. The ghost sect is a well-known sect of the Lone Wolf sect, neither righteous nor evil, neither righteous nor evil. Being looked down upon by the righteous, despised by the evil, hiding in the Black Forest, playing with strange things every day. According to the master of the machine pavilion that day, the spiritual pulse is 10 miles west of the ghost sect. Let's go. Wanhua took the lead and brought numerous elders and elite disciples to the 10-mile mark of the ghost sect. This is a barren valley, bare and without even a single weed. The elders of Wanhua Valley looked at each other. Is there a spiritual vein in a place where even birds don't lay eggs? It seems that 90% of the Wanhua was fooled by some so-called senior experts, wasting treasures and buying loneliness. Although these elders have determined that Wanhua has been deceived, they are all holding it in their hearts, observing their eyes, nose, and heart. Everyone is a worker. Isn't the resources of Wanhua Valley fragrant for free? No one would be foolish enough to expose things and embarrass Wanhua. Not to mention these elders, even Wanhua herself was full of doubts, and she secretly regretted it in her heart. Damn it, why did I trust that kid so easily? The treasure has been washed away now, damn it. Although she has started to regret it in her heart, since she has come, let's just die and become a living horse doctor. Dig it for me. The people of Wanhua Valley slowly started digging. 10 zhang. 20 zhang. 50 zhang. I dug a full 50 zhang, but there was nothing except for some mud and dead bones. Wanhua's face is getting darker and darker. I was deceived. I was fooled by someone for nothing. I want to kill him. Gue Lao asked cautiously, Valley Master, are you still digging? Dig me 100 zhang. Wanhua said fiercely. She was already thinking about how to find Chen Xuan, this prodigy, to settle accounts. The elder and disciples of Wanhua Valley had no choice but to continue digging. 85 zhang. 95 zhang. 99 zhang. Gue Lao sighed in his heart and waved his palm directly. His powerful spiritual energy fell to the ground, causing the earth to sink and drop another zhang. It's 100 zhang. Just as everyone breathed a sigh of relief, suddenly a white spiritual light surged out from the ground. Boom! Amidst the loud noise, a white pillar of light rose into the sky, and countless white spiritual lights fell like a fountain. The people in Wanhua Valley felt that the speed of spiritual energy in their bodies suddenly increased tenfold. Lingmai. It's really Lingmai. I'll go, what a rich spiritual energy, ha ha ha. The spiritual energy in each bite is 10 times that of the outside world. It's released. The elders and disciples of Wanhua Valley woke up from the shock. They have people holding their heads and constantly jumping. Some people lie on the ground like dogs and suck wildly. Some people trembled and screamed uncontrollably. Wanhua was stunned. What Chen Xuan said is actually true. Guru. Just now, Wanhua was still full of murderous energy, but now she is extremely excited. God, man. Very divine. Chen Xuan said that 10 miles away means 10 miles away. It's said to be digging for 100 zhang, and even if you're a little short, you can't see the spiritual pulse. In an instant, Wanhua had an impulse to bow down and even her eyes were moist. With the spiritual pulse, there is hope for the rise of Wanhua Valley, and she will also be remembered in history. I feel excited just thinking about it. Fortunately, Wanhua's mood was stable, and she forcibly suppressed her excitement and said loudly. Hurry up. Set up a lock on the spiritual array, lock the spiritual pulse, and don't let the people of the ghost sect discover it. Obey me. The elders of Wanhua Valley worked together to draw magic spells and treasures, and set up the soul-locking formation. The mysterious array patterns fell from the sky, like a big hand pressing the sprayed spiritual veins back onto the ground. Just as the people in Wanhua Valley were relaxing, there was a sudden surge in the spiritual pulse, and boundless blood rushed out from the white light. Amidst the blood, there was a faint sound of ghosts crying and wolves howling, which made one's heart palpitate. Several disciples from Wanhua Valley who were relatively close were caught off guard and hit by the blood light. They immediately let out a mournful scream, and their flesh and skin fell off in large chunks. In less than a few breaths, it turned into a terrifying skeleton. This is the Thousand Ghosts Devouring Soul Formation. What, is it an evil formation created by extracting the souls of 1,000 warriors from the legend? That's the formation. Once the Thousand Ghost Soul Devouring Formation erupts, the Thousand Ghost Soul will rush out and ignore any spiritual energy or treasure damage, specifically devouring human souls. Ah, doesn't that mean we're finished? The people of Wanhua Valley were suddenly filled with despair. Chapter 8. Tianji Pavilion Master, True God and Man. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Thousand Ghosts Devouring Soul Formation erupted, charging out countless ghosts from the spiritual veins and dancing in the void. The disciples of Wanhua Valley who were dissolved by bloodlight, their souls flew out and were crazily torn apart by the soul of the 1,000 ghosts, emitting a mournful scream. The people in Wanhua Valley were shivering and trembling as they watched. They are not afraid of powerful enemies, but in the face of such an evil and terrifying formation, they are torn apart with fear. There is no strength to fight back. Rewind quickly. The sweat pores behind Wanhuarong stood up, and she quickly drew out a powerful spell. The cultivators in the realm of transforming gods are so powerful, and when they wave their hands, they are filled with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. But those powerful spells that are capable of killing any golden elixir cannot cause any damage to the soul of the 1,000 ghosts. The magic formula penetrated the soul of the 1,000 ghosts, not only unable to cause damage, but also making the soul even more desolate and irritable. Ah, even the Valley Master cannot defeat these ghosts. We're done. We're doomed. Woo-woo, I want to go home, I don't want to die. Help us, who will save us? Everyone in Wanhua Valley hugged each other, their faces filled with despair. At this moment, Wanhuarong suddenly had a sudden inspiration. Ghost old, hurry up, sprinkle dog blood. Gue Lao cried sadly and said, Valley Master, are you joking? This is the 1,000 Ghosts Soul Devouring Formation, an ancient formation. You shed dog blood. Wanhuarong said seriously, I believe that the Lord of the Machine Pavilion won't deceive us that day. Sprinkle it on me. Gue Lao had no choice but to take out the black dog blood and sprinkle it all over his head. It's strange to say. After the black dog's blood spilled out, the 1,000 Ghost Soul, which had just howled wildly, let out a scream as if encountering a nemesis and turned around to burrow into the spiritual vein. But the blood of the black dog spilled onto the body of the 1,000 Ghost Soul. At the next moment, a stunning situation appeared. The souls of those 1,000 ghosts were like rolling oil encountering water, making a growling sound, and then turning into black smoke, dissipating the sky. In less than a moment, the soul of 1,000 ghosts has completely disappeared. The surroundings return to calm once again. It's like nothing happened. Wanhuarong was stunned. Gue Lao was stunned. The people of Wanhua Valley also froze. It's like having a beautiful woman pinned to the bed, but the person claims to be a eunuch. That's ridiculous, isn't it? The terrifying evil formation, the 1,000 Ghosts Devouring Soul Formation. An existence that even the master of transforming the divine realm is powerless. I was splashed with a pot of dog blood like this. After a while, Wanhuarong took a sip of saliva. Master of Tianji Pavilion, truly a divine person. She trembled all over and quickly said, quickly, lock the spiritual pulse and take it away. The people of Wanhua Valley also woke up and used the formation to lock in the breath of the spiritual pulse, and then took it away directly. They each had a huge smile on their faces. With the spiritual pulse, their cultivation is equivalent to having an accelerator, and breakthroughs are just around the corner. Shortly after the departure of the people in Wanhua Valley, a group of people dressed in black appeared at the location of the spiritual pulse. The leader, shrouded in black airflow and majestic, is actually a cultivator in the realm of transforming gods. He looked at the deep pit left by the disappearance of the spiritual pulse and let out a heart-wrenching cry. Ah. Who is it? Who stole the spiritual pulse? I want to kill him. This spiritual pulse was finally discovered by the ghost sect. It's just that the lord of the ghost sect had a big plan, so he didn't move it away. He used the strongest 1,000 ghosts soul devouring array to suppress the spiritual pulse. Deep underground, there is also 1,000 ghosts devouring soul formation guarding. Unless it is a celestial being in the sky, it is absolutely impossible to lose the spiritual pulse. But reality dealt a harsh blow to the face of the leader of the ghost sect. The spiritual pulse is really lost. The newcomer was familiar with the way and in less than a moment, destroyed the 1,000 ghosts soul devouring formation, taking away the spiritual pulse. The leader of the ghost sect looked at the sect elders with murderous intent. If it weren't for an insider, how could an outsider have such skills? Say, who leaked the intelligence? The elders of the ghost sect trembled all over under their murderous gaze, with a frightened expression on their faces, and lowered their heads. At this moment, whoever speaks will die. Don't guess. If you want to know who took the spiritual pulse, go to Tianji Pavilion and ask. At this moment, a figure walked out. Covered in black, with a black scarf on her face, but judging from her figure, she is clearly a woman. What kind of person are you? The leader of the ghost sect showed a cautious expression on his face. You don't have to worry. Remember, Tianji Pavilion. After the woman finished speaking, she immediately disappeared into light. Tianji Pavilion. The lord of the ghost sect recited it twice, feeling somewhat familiar. What is that place? The elder boldly said, Master Qi, have you forgotten about the Tianji list a while ago? Ah, it's him. The leader of the ghost sect suddenly realized. Just a godly stick, what can be trusted? The words of the sect leader are not accurate. Since this person has the ability to create the Tianji list, it indicates that they must have some trump cards. Let's try it out, maybe we can find some clues. Well, it makes sense. After much thought, the leader of the ghost sect had no other choice. In front of Tianji Pavilion, Chen Xuan lay in a chair. Holding a pot of tea in his hand, he drank it slowly. Life is endless with joy. Have you all been notified? The figure flashed and Lin Weiner appeared. The woman who went to the ghost sect just now is none other than her. Okay, open the door and wait for your esteemed guest to come. After drinking this cup of tea, it should arrive soon. Lin Weiner opened the door according to her words. Sure enough. At the last sip of tea, the leader of the ghost sect came with a murderous aura. Who is Chen Xuan? Get out. The cultivator in the realm of transforming gods was enraged. The powerful momentum tore apart the void. Lin Weiner felt her breath suffocating, even breathing extremely hard, and her face suddenly changed. Okay. So strong. I didn't expect the strength of the cultivator in the realm of transforming gods to be so terrifying. It seems like I want revenge, it's just a fantasy. The leader of the ghost sect was not as polite as Wanhua, who directly fell in front of the gate. At first glance, I saw the couplet. I know astronomy from above and geography from below. I have known for 500 years before and for 500 years after. What a big tone, my sect leader wants to see if this person is so divine. He walked directly through the gate and entered the Tianji Pavilion. He was already full of anger, if Chen Xuan couldn't give him an answer. Must be killed. Hee. The leader of the ghost sect is so angry, drink a cup of tea to calm down. Chen Xuan looked at the leader of the ghost sect with a smile on his face. Name. Ghost King's Coffin. Strength. Mid-stage of transforming the divine realm. Faction. Ghost sect. Technique. Gathering of 10,000 ghosts. Ghost King summoning. Treasures. Ghost Seal, 9th grade Peak, Jinshan Steel, 9th grade, Dingfeng Pearl, 8th grade. Current status. Ling Mai missing. The ghost ancestor has been unable to break through the realm of integration and is worried. Looking at a series of treasures, Chen Xuan's mouth was about to drip. These are all the natural secrets of red fruit. His gaze at the ghost king's coffin was as if he were looking at a fat sheep. If I let this go, I'm afraid Chen Xuan will have insomnia at night. Chapter 9. Is it extortion? You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't have time to drink tea. I heard you can do anything. I know everything, right? Ran also. Tell me, who took away the spiritual pulse? Don't speak, speak with treasures. Chen Xuan extended 2 fingers and gently rubbed them. Everyone understands this gesture. The ghost king's coffin's face darkened directly. Unexpectedly extorted the head of our sect leader, seeking death. He waved his palm directly, ready to use the ultimate move. But what was played was just a refreshing breeze. There is not a single drop of spiritual energy surging inside the body. The ghost king's coffin was greatly surprised, and he quickly went to activate the magic weapon. But the magic weapon, which used to be like arms and fingers, stayed quietly in the dantian, motionless. There is a posture where you are free and I am not moving. Cold sweat dripped from the forehead of the ghost king's coffin, silently suppressing one's spiritual energy. This cultivation is simply too terrifying. Even the ghost ancestor cannot do it. Thinking that I had just spoken ill of such a great power, the ghost king's coffin was covered in coldness. Cold air rose directly from the soles of the feet to the top of the head. He quickly took out a 6th-grade treasure from his pocket and respectfully held it in his hands. Just now, it was our sect leader who was too anxious. This is a small gesture, please accept it with a smile, Tianji Pavilion Lord. Although my family and business are great, I still feel a slight pain in my heart when it comes to giving away 6 treasures in the ghost king's coffin for free. After all, treasures, especially imported treasures, are not cabbage and can be easily found on the roadside. How many cultivators can obtain a 2nd or 3rd-grade treasure, which is enough to be happy for several days and nights without sleeping? The 6th-grade treasure is a level that is enough to stir up a bloody storm. But there's nothing the ghost king's coffin can do. Chen Xuan unknowingly sealed his cultivation. No matter how young he is. No matter what means he uses. The ghost king's coffin is a very realistic person who sees the outcome rather than the process. All processes serve the purpose of results. Throughout, Chen Xuan did not make any movements. That is to say, in Chen Xuan's eyes, he is just an ant. The ghost king's coffin is hesitant. Just now, the Lord said it was extortion. No, no, everything is willingly done by our sect leader. Come on, have some tea. Chen Xuan smiled and placed a cup of tea next to the ghost king's coffin. Tianji Pavilion welcomes any customers to come and buy news. Yes, yes. The ghost king coffin patiently listened to Chen Xuan's words. If it were in the past, it would be absolutely unbelievable. I don't know what news the sect leader wants to buy. I want to know who stole my ghost sect's spiritual veins. Sure. Tianji Pavilion knows everything, but... Chen Xuan extended 2 more fingers and gently rubbed them. There's nothing I can't find out here. If I can't find out, there's only one reason. That's just that the cost is not enough. The ghost king's coffin didn't have any nonsense, just took out a round bead. 8th-grade treasure Dingfeng pearl, is that enough? Hiss. Chen Xuan originally thought that the ghost king's coffin was just a few treasures of the 6th or 7th grade, and that was enough. But he never expected the ghost king's coffin to be so generous. Directly took out the 8th-grade wind bead. A big accident. That's enough. Chen Xuan smiled and put away the Dingfeng beads. Ding. Get 5,000 days of chance points. Sleeping slot. 5,000 points. Sent it. The 4th grade upper-level treasure can only be exchanged for 40 days of opportunity points. A 6th grade treasure can only be exchanged for a few hundred points. And the 8th grade treasure came directly for 5,000 points. The spiritual pulse is in the Valley of 10,000 Flowers. Wanhua Valley. The Ghost King's coffin is not unfamiliar to Wanhua Valley. How did Wanhua Valley know about the spiritual pulse? However, the Ghost King's coffin has not been delved into, and his entire mind is now focused on retrieving the spiritual pulse. Okay, Master Chen, thank you again when I retrieve the spiritual pulse. Goodbye. Master, take your time. Chen Xuan smiled and said, by the way, if you have time, please invite Guizhu to come. I believe he should be interested in my intelligence. What, how did you know about the Ghost Ancestor incident? The Ghost King's coffin opened its mouth wide, its face full of disbelief. As early as 100 years ago, the Ghost Ancestor had already begun to shut down and challenge the realm of unity. That would make Chen Xuan not even a bug. How did he know? The Tianji Pavilion controls the heavenly way, and everything within the heavenly way is known. I understand, my lord. I will definitely convey your words to the Ghost Ancestor. The Ghost King's coffin gave Chen Xuan a deep glance and then left with the person. He first returned to the ghost sect and without saying a word, went directly to the forbidden area in the back mountain. Ancestor, I have a request to see the Ghost King's coffin, my disciple. In the dark space, an old man with white hair opened his eyes. Didn't I say that during seclusion, it's not a matter of life or death, don't you disturb me. Grandfather, some people say they can help you break through the realm of unity. What? With a loud bang, the gate of the closed place exploded, and the ghost tribe shot out quickly and rushed to the front of the Ghost King's coffin. He had an excited expression and was trembling all over. It's been a whole 100 years. He is stuck at the peak of the realm of transformation, unable to move forward. He is already very old now. If we don't break through again, we'll probably die of old age. Guizhu doesn't want to die so miserably. But he tried all possible methods, but couldn't break through the realm of transforming gods. In the end, he felt a bit dazed. Say it again. Recently, a young man claiming to be the owner of the Tianji Pavilion has appeared, and he may have a way to help his ancestors break through. Where is he? Just as the Ghost King's coffin revealed Chen Xuan's position, the Ghost Ancestor flew away with a swoop. He can't stay for a second. At this moment, in the Tianji Pavilion, Chen Xuan happily counted his own Tianji points. 7,350 points. Ha ha ha. The feeling of overnight wealth made him dance and dance. System, select the suitable cultivation techniques for the master of this pavilion. Remember, don't have the best, just the most expensive. Got it. Ding. A suitable technique has been derived for the host. The creation technique. The strongest skill that can create the world. It requires a divine skill point of 10 billion. Heaven and earth forbidden move. A terrifying ultimate move that can reverse the heavenly way, no one can stop it. It requires 8 billion heavenly machine points. Emperor's Dharma Sutra. It gathers the supreme secret of the birth of the Qi of the 3 yellow and 5 emperors. It requires 9 billion points of divine intelligence. Sleeping slot. Chen Xuan was dumbfounded. He thought he was already rich enough, but the system hit him hard in the face. Good martial arts. Have the number of celestial secrets needed is astronomical. Is there a technique that is cheap and sufficient in quantity? Ding. Yes. The host can use installment purchases. However, they need to pay an additional 10% interest. Sleeping trough, so black. Chen Xuan was startled. If he buys the creation technique, he will have to spend an extra billion. 1 billion. Chapter 10. Half-achieved innate Qiankun Gong. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chen Xuan picked and chose the innate Qiankun Gong worth 50 million yuan in the end. Of course, with his current Tianji points, he is only enough to buy the first half of the first layer's cultivation. Ding! The host has locked in the innate Qiankun Gong. This cultivation method is to seize innate qi, absorb the universe within the body, and practice it to the peak without invading any methods, and the golden spear will not fall. Do you want to spend 5,000 days machine points to purchase half of the first layer of mind techniques? Yes. Chen Xuan tearfully agreed. This is truly a return to understanding before release. The next moment. Boom. Heaven and earth shake, and the void opens up. A golden beam of light descended from the sky. Cover Chen Xuan inside. The innate qi descends and infuses the physical body. Chen Xuan felt like the power inside him was like a volcanic eruption, with each wave stronger than the other. Ah! He roared up to the sky, his anger sweeping through him. What's going on? Lin Wanhua happened to walk over, and she felt that the waves were as strong as mountains and seas, without any regrets. In a moment of shock, she had already been shaken out hundreds of feet. If it weren't for her good strength, she would have been seriously injured by now. Even so, it was also full of energy and blood, swaying and on the verge of collapse. Okay. So strong. I didn't expect his strength to be so strong. It's too scary. In Lin Wanhor's awe-inspiring gaze, Chen Xuan's body slowly rose into the air. Surrounded by white flowing light, with a faint Tai Chi pattern on the back, slowly spinning. At this moment, Chen Xuan's expression was solemn, his eyes slightly opened and closed, and his gaze was filled with a look of disdain towards the mortal world. He is no longer a human. But it's a fairy. It's a god. It's holy. He is the master of everything. Lin Wanhor's heart was pounding and she was sweating profusely. Oh my goodness, what exactly is he? Chen Xuan's momentum came and went quickly. In less than a moment. The white light disappeared, and the person slowly landed. 5,000 is gone. His first reaction was to lament. Then I checked my body. Within his dantian, there was a wisp of white air swirling. This white airflow is not spiritual energy. More pure than spiritual energy. It is the purest innate qi. Although it was only a small strand, Chen Xuan now is enough to crush a presence like Lin Wanhua. In this world. Forging body, cultivating qi, building foundation, golden pill, elemental baby, transforming spirit, combining, Mahayana, crossing calamity. There are a total of 9 great realms. Going further up is the rumored fairyland. Well, now I'm probably equivalent to the later stage of the golden elixir. It's not bad. With 5,000 Tianji points, Chen Xuan easily gained the cultivation that others had been practicing hard for more than 10 years. Is there anything easier than this? System, increase the remaining Tianji points' spiritual energy. Chen Xuan's dantian, apart from that innate aura. It's as empty as ever. That is to say, he has a realm of emptiness. But without corresponding strength. It's just an embroidered pillow. I wasted countless treasures brought by saliva. It disappeared in the blink of an eye. Ghost sect ancestor, if you don't come again, I'll be so poor that I can't cook. Chen Xuan let out a mournful sigh. As he turned his head, he saw Lin Wanhua with a dull gaze 100 yards away. Senior. Are you a reincarnation of a certain Deluo golden immortal? Lin Wanhor's trembling question. This question is difficult to explain. Chen Xuan scratched his head. Actually, I'm very ordinary. Normal. Lin Wanhua almost spewed out a mouthful of old blood. The power of heaven and earth that just erupted cannot even be achieved by her master, the Lord of Wanhua Valley. Are you telling me it's ordinary? Would you like some face? After being shocked, Lin Weiner showed a sudden expression. Yes, I looked at my senior's cultivation from my own perspective, and naturally felt surprised. But for seniors, this is just a small trial. It's too small, or the pattern is too small. She said seriously, Senior, I understand now. I will keep my mouth shut about what happened just now, and I won't talk to anyone even if I die. That's good. Seeing that Lin Weiner had no intention of asking further questions, Chen Xuan also breathed a sigh of relief. Anyway, it's best to just fool around like this. At this moment, thousands of miles away from Tianji Pavilion, the black stream of light tore through the wind and clouds, advancing at lightning speed. Boom! The sound of a sonic boom sounded, and the strong wind was torn apart, causing the white clouds to disperse. A white-haired old man wearing a black robe appeared on the void. Tianji Pavilion. Is it in this direction? Suddenly, the sound of an eagle owl rang out, and a huge shadow 3 times thicker than an adult broke through the clouds and charged towards the old man with white hair. Tianping bird. The old man with white hair frowned. On this day, the Pengyao possesses the bloodline of an ancient great Peng, with a huge body size and iron build, steel teeth, and sharp claws. It is the most terrifying monster soaring in the sky, capable of giving birth to tearing tigers and leopards. Especially with all the feathers on his body, even if the cultivator in the Golden Core realm hits him with all his might, he can't expect to leave any scars on his body. It is a terrifying existence that everyone fears, like snakes and scorpions. Bold. Ghost Ancestor's eyes froze, and his pupils instantly turned black. His white hair fluttered, and the airflow surged out. That day, the Peng bird had just flown within a 10-zhang range and suddenly let out a mournful scream. It feels like its body is being grabbed by an invisible big hand. Ghost energy enters the body, and the skin of the skybird is directly torn open. Countless steel feathers spewed out with blood. It's unbearable to see. The peak power of transforming the divine realm. Terrifying as ever. It's been a long time since I left, even a small monster dares to disrespect my ancestor. Guizhu withdrew his gaze. The skybird has turned into a pile of flesh and blood, descending from the sky. Humph. Ghost Ancestor snorted coldly and disappeared in place in a blink of an eye. In an instant, he appeared at the top of the barren mountain. He looked down at the small attic from a high position and said in a deep voice. The Ghost Ancestor of the Ghost Sect requests to see the Lord of the Tianji Pavilion. He was slightly tense all over, staring at the Tianji Pavilion. At this moment, the door opened and Chen Xuan rushed out. His face was full of smiles, and the first thing he said was, "You finally came, you miss me so much." Ghost Ancestor. What situation? Chen Xuan looked at his own gaze as if he were looking at prey. Danger. A sense of crisis that has not appeared in a long time. Appearing in the heart of the Ghost Ancestor. At the next moment, his pupils contracted. Because he found himself unable to see through Chen Xuan's cultivation. With his strength, the cultivation of anyone below the realm of transformation cannot escape his eyes. But he couldn't see through Chen Xuan's cultivation. This person is like a mist. Impossible. Damn it. Guizhu rubbed his own eyes vigorously. Then he looked up and down at Chen Xuan. I still can't see it. Chen Xuan also frowned. He naturally knew that the person in front of him was the ancestor of the ghost sect. But the old man didn't say anything, just looked at himself. That gaze makes people feel a bit uneasy. He can't be an old glass, can he? I heard this old guy has been in seclusion for over 100 years. I can't hold it back anymore. I'm going crazy.